Good morning. Good morning. It's Coach D. Anthony with today's segment of Morning Minutes with Coach D. Today's topic, we're going to talk about honesty and how critical it is to the healing process. And that's not only honesty with the people around you, but even more importantly, is honesty with yourself. So here's a question for you. What is it that you think we humans tend to do better overall or collectively than anything else? All right, here's my answer to that question. Lie to ourselves. Okay, that might take you by surprise a little bit, but think about it this way. You see, the way that we humans are put together, we need to have a sense of safety, a sense of security, a sense of comfort, to feel like everything is okay and we're basically headed in the right direction. And since that's not the way that life always works out, when it's not going in that direction, we will oftentimes tend to reframe the story, reframe the circumstances, the messaging that we are giving ourselves to make ourselves feel comfortable, to give ourselves a greater sense of control, as it were, and to allow us to feel comfortable enough that we can actually get a little sleep at night. Now, while lying to ourselves might make us feel good in the moment, the problem is, from a long-term standpoint, it's really not a good thing. And this is the reason why. If we are telling ourselves things are going well, when the truth is that they're not going so well, then that's creating a bit of a conflict within ourselves, because there's a part of us that realizes that things aren't going well, right? And that's the part of us that tends to have our emotions going out of control a little bit, and perhaps have us crying at times that, we don't want to cry, or feeling like we got to stay alone because we don't have control of our emotions. But here we are at other times telling ourselves that we're doing okay, that things are going just fine, that I'm just having a bad day. When the reality is, things haven't been going well for weeks or months, years, and sometimes decades. But we're continuing to tell ourselves these messages on a day-by-day basis to help us feel a little bit better to make it through the day. But the other problem is, if we are telling ourselves that there is no problem, then there is nothing to correct. There is nothing to fix. If we're telling ourselves that we're okay, then we don't really need any help. And so, in effect, it's condemning us to stay exactly where we are, to keep that problem. And then the other major problem that comes out of it is, by telling ourselves one thing, when another part of us realizes that things are different, we are creating these conflicts within ourselves, major conflicts. So, imagine arguing with yourself. I'm doing better. No, you're not. I'm doing better. No, you're not. I got this. No, you don't. How can you have a sense of balance? How can you have a sense of certainty? We talked last week about the loss of the mojo, the loss of the confidence. Well, if we're always in this major battle inside our head about whether we are good or bad, whether we are trending up or trending down, whether we have a problem or not, then there won't be any certainty. There won't be any peace. We've got a mini war going on. So again, that's another reason why telling ourselves things just to feel good in the moment, not really a good thing long term. It's causing us to maintain these problems and this strife and this misery in many cases much longer than we need to hold on to. It's causing us to continue operating in the same mode and convince ourselves not to get help, convince ourselves not to change direction, and ultimately convince ourselves that there was no other choice. Well, there was another choice. There always is a choice. We always have influence to change things around, if not the event itself, the way that we are influenced by the event and the steps that we take after the event. That is always within our hands. And we always have choice. Okay? So we want to try to begin to tell ourselves the proper, or not so much the proper, but the accurate story. Okay? Let's tell ourselves the truth, not so that we can wallow in it, not so that we can stay stuck in it, not so that we can kick ourselves, so that we can have an accurate understanding of where we actually are. Look at it this way. Let's say that I had a job interview, and right before it was time for me to go out and go to that interview, my one pair of shoes, the heel on my one pair of shoes broke, and I realized I've got just enough time to get to the mall and get to the shoe store, get me a new pair of shoes, get out of there and get to my interview, hopefully on time, right? So I'm not sure where the shoe store is though, but I remember my buddy, my friend you, actually works at the mall. And the mall like the back of your hands. I know you're going to be able to give me the directions to get right to that shoe store so I can make my interview on time. So I call you as I run through the door of the mall, and I say, listen, I can't explain now. I will call you later, but I really need to get to the shoe store because I got to get out of here and get to this interview. Can you just tell me, how do I get to the shoe store? Now, you being the person that you are, the thinking person and knowing the mall like the back of your hand, there is one question that you're going to probably ask me. You know what that question is? Where are you? You see, obviously the mall has multiple doors. And it makes a big difference which door I walk through. As I said, I just walked through the door. It can give me the directions. And if I tell you I came through the north door, but I actually came through the south door, then your directions, as good as you are not going to get me to the right place. And it's the same with life. If we don't start out with an honest accounting of where we are, then what are the chances we're going to effectively make it to the destination that we want to get to? So, honesty, let's start being honest with ourselves so that we stop creating these internal conflicts and we stop condemning ourselves to keep these problems much longer than we need to. Honesty with the people around us. A lot of times we're not honest with the people around us. We tell them we're okay, we're okay, we're okay, we're okay. And then, we wonder, why doesn't anybody know that I'm okay? Why doesn't anybody care? Why am I all alone handling this? Okay? So honesty is very important if we want to move through the healing process. So that's the message for today. Glad you were able to join. Whatever questions, thoughts you have, by all means, share them, comment below. Let me know what you think about the Morning Minutes. Comment below. Again, the more we comment, the more Facebook knows that this dialogue and these posts are important and the information you're interested in. So they'll show up in your news feeds more often, and they'll also show up in the news feeds for other Stronger Than Grief members. So you're helping us help more people. And as a reminder, Stronger Than Grief is a closed group, so whatever you post is only going to be seen by people internal to the group. Okay, so DeAnthony signing off for today and wishing you your very best possible day. Talk to you tomorrow.